Tanya for the 28th of Sivan. We're starting chapter 9, and chapter 9 is flowing directly from chapter 8, same theme that we're talking about. And yesterday we were discussing how the sort of levels and the function of the human experience through the soul is that we have like really 5 levels, right? The highest point in our spiritual functions is our intellect. Namely, the opening point is our chachma. That's the highest. And we explained how you move through chachma to emotion, to thought, speech, and finally action, right? And we sort of demonstrated that each level is significantly greater, more powerful than the level that precedes it, right? So we explained that the distance between of our spiritual capacity of chachma versus our, a motor action that we do, there's a world of difference. Massive changes are to envelop a single motion that a person does, to compare that to even his emotional system or to his chachma. So the highest is chachma and the lowest is action. Now he's going to turn. We were basically coming off of explaining that the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which we explained a little bit, is beyond human comprehension. It's beyond human wisdom to really grasp the idea of the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? So now we went through the human experience, and now he's going to say, Aval legabe HaKadosh Baruch Hu madregas hachachma hi techilas machshava v'reishisa hi sof ma'asa etzlo. Where we said that chachma is the highest, greatest function of all of experience that we could actually imagine, right? What's greater than the ultimate chachma, right? That's the highest of the high in ourselves, and even if we could imagine supernal knowledge or something like that, it's the highest of the high. He's saying here that with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's not the case. With HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the level of chachma, the level of wisdom, which is the highest for us, is the bottom for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? It's the bottom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Our ceiling is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's floor. Dahainu shenachshavas ki'ilu hi bechinas umadregas asiya legabe HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where we said we have these vast jumps in our experience, which starts at chachma and ends with the lowest motor action movement, right? That with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, chachma to him is like action. Or in other words, chachma and action are one and the same for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He transcends all of this, right? He's totally beyond the concept of wisdom and action. He transcends all of it. Kedechsiv kulam b'chachma asisa. So the Alter Rebbe makes a play on the words here, right? Kulam b'chachma asisa means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created all with wisdom, right? But he connects the word chachma to asisa, chachma and asiya. That kulam b'chachma asisa. That all of that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu emanates into creation, chachma, asiya, action, wisdom, it's all way below him. He's beyond the concept of wisdom. V'hainu de lomar shebe'erech hachayus sheba'asiya gufanis v'gashmis le'erech hayis chachma. He says, that's to say that the wisdom relative to him is as the quality of the life force, is the physical material action in relation to the quality of life force of wisdom. So in our experience, action's the bottom, right? And for him, wisdom is like that. It's all the way below him. Whereas wisdom is the beginning. We said chachma is the reishis. Chachma is the beginning of everything that we can possibly conceive of. The beginning of all aspects of creation are descending from this chachma, right? For HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's like action. It's like the bottom. Shehu ka'ayin legabe chayus sheba'osios hadibor. Shehu ka'ayin legabe chayus sheba'osios hamachshava. Like we said yesterday, that the level of action, right, is nothing in comparison to the power of speech, right? A motor movement is not as it doesn't have the same depth and significance as the concept of the power of speech. And he says that the power of speech, right, that those letters and words that we say when we're speaking, those are nothing in comparison to the letters and words that are built in our thought system, right? So it goes action to speech. In each level, the thing below it is less significant, right? Action, a motor movement is less significant than the power of speech. The power of speech is less significant than the power of thought. And that is it. Yeah, shehu ka'ayin legabe chayus u'mailas hamidu shemehan nimshacha b'machshava zo. Right, and the thought, we said every thought could be drawn back to something in our spiritual emotional system. So a raw emotion, right, is beyond even the thought of the words or the letters that we use to try to understand or express the emotion, right? You're as we said yesterday, when you feel an emotion, right, everything happens quickly in our experience, but a raw emotion, once I start to conceptualize and think about what it is and put it into words, that's a tzimtzum. I'm limiting, right, the power of the emotion. So again, the action is insignificant, or it has much less significance than speech. Speech has much less significance than the words and letters of thought, and the words and letters of thought have less significance to the power of emotion. Right? And we said that the power of intellect, right, that supersedes even the concept of even our spiritual emotional system, right? All of our our emotions, right, are given. We're not going to go into now, but it's the intellect that actually gives birth. It's our intellectual experience, right, from the moment we're born. As we're growing, it's our awareness and what we perceive and what we learn, right, that informs our emotions. So that's us. Kain mamish erach madregas mailas achachma shireshus mekor chayshah v'chol ha'olamos. Right, so exactly so is the quality and level of wisdom, the beginning and source of the life force in all the worlds. So just like we have this sort of quantum leap, right, between action and the ultimate and the concept of chachma, right? From the level of chachma, whatever that means, right, to a Kadosh Baruch Hu is also a big jump, right? Hamaroma mismase ribu ravas b'dregas romamos yoser miromas b'dregas chachma al b'chinas chai shabasiya, right? However, our system of jumping from one to the other, which we just went through, right, that's like a 5-tier jump, right? When we're trying to understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which we can't, and we can't because it's beyond wisdom, it's beyond our wisdom. The concept of wisdom to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also a jump, he's saying, but it's not a 5-level jump, it's an infinite jump. There's infinite levels, right, in degrees by which HaKadosh Baruch Hu is transcendent even of the concept of wisdom. Right, to say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, we say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the ultimate knower, but that's already limiting to of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? He's emanated and created the concept of wisdom, the concept of knowing, right? But his essence is far beyond. Shehi romamus chamesh madregos levad. Our experience is 5 levels that we just described. Shehein madregos bechinos asiya v'dibur machshav midos seichel. The levels that take us from the level of action to the level of speech, to the level of thought, to the level of emotion, to the level of intelligence. Aval Kadosh Baruch Hu Huram Misnasa Madregas Chachma Ravas Madregas Elu Adin Kates. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's level above the concept of wisdom is infinite. It's an infinite thing. And what he was building on here is that we can't grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his essence. We can't grasp this concept of a perfect, simple unity. It's infinitely beyond even the concept of wisdom. It's not like if only I was smart enough, right? The wisdom doesn't contain that transcendency. Okay, Hayom Yom quickly. Oh, we still have a couple of minutes. Hayom Yom for the 20th of Sivan. After the Tzemach Tzedek told his son, my revered grandfather, the Rebbe Marash. The Rebbe Marash is the 4th Rebbe of Lubavitch, the Tzemach Tzedek's youngest son, about an incident that once happened to him. He concluded, when one helps a Jew make a living, even to earn a mere 70 kopecks, when he's selling a calf, the gates of all the heavenly palaces are open for him. Several years later, my revered grandfather, the Rebbe Marash, told his whole story to my revered father, the Rebbe Rashab, and added, though ideally one should know the path to the heavenly palaces, this is not crucial. What is of fundamental importance is to help another person wholeheartedly with the warmth, to take pleasure in doing a fellow Jew a favor. More important than all of this wisdom, right, which we're aiming for, right? The most important thing is to help another Jew, to do another favor for another Jew. Shkoyach.